Hey, what's going on, you guys? I'm very happy to be doing my out-of-box review for the HG Greys, the second kit from the Iron Blooded Orphans series, and just like the Barbatos, I am very, very impressed with this kit. It's a great kit. Right off the bat, I'm just going to say that if you had any doubts as to if you wanted to get this kit or not, just get the kit. It's really cheap for one, and secondly, it's really, really awesome. It's a great grunt kit, which, you know, we get grunt kits now and then, but this is a really, really nice grunt kit. I'm expecting we're going to see loads of custom builds of this, variations as well, official variation kits from Bandai. These Schwalbe Greys we'll be reviewing very shortly as well. And then, I don't know if we're going to see more different variations of the Greys later. I don't know. Well, we have the Greys Kai as well. But I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty of this kit. And then we're also going to be having it in the 1/100 scale as well. Can't wait for that one. Great looking kit. Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, that's pretty much end of the review right there. Well, not really too much else to say about it. It's an awesome kit. Just get it. You don't really need to know too much anything else about it. But just in case you did want to know anything more about it, I will, I suppose, continue on with the review. And first say a big thank you to Mind Phoenix Hobby Store for sending me this kit as usual. I'm happy to share with you guys, and I'm happy to highly recommend that you get this kit. I think it's been a while since I've had a kit that I like so much as this kit. A lot of kits out recently that I think I like quite a bit, but this one has definitely got to be one of my favorites in a while. It's a really great looking kit. There are a few stickers on it, but not really too many. It's mostly just going to be the yellow that you see on it for the most part. This yellow stripe on the back, on the chest as well, and then on the kind of mono eye camera on it. One thing that's really cool about this is how similar it is to a Zaku, so it's a little bit more kind of like a throwback to the original Gundam series as well. Of course, it has the Zaku color scheme, the fact that it is a sort of enemy grunt mobile suit, as well as the fact that it has the mono eye there in terms of just the one single camera on the front. The fact, those facts, plus its weapons as well. The fact that the head, you get the standard head or the commander type with the commander antenna if you want. All these features very similar to the Zaku, so really cool that they did that. So, I mean, you could say that that's kind of lazy that they just took everything from the Zaku and just sort of adapted it into a new design anyway, but I don't really see it as lazy. I see it as just more awesome. I mean, the overall kit itself, it looks like just something out of Frame Arms. I've said that before, and I'm sure other people have said that too, and maybe compared it to other different series as well. But for me, more than anything, it looks like Frame Arms. And as with the Barbatos, it does have a pretty full inner frame. The only place that doesn't really have any sort of inner frame is in the feet. So if you wanted to build up all the inner frame, you'll have everything all connected, except you'll just have just the regular armored feet on there. But otherwise, full inner frame, so that's really cool. The head, I have the commander antenna on there, but we do also have a different piece. If you just want the normal head without the antenna, you can put that on there if you so choose. So here we just have the, again, the yellow sticker there for the camera. This front part opens up, and basically you're just repositioning this top part. There's no hinge or anything on it, you just kind of have to reposition it in a way so that is open like that. And then inside there, that is a sticker as well. It doesn't really look very good. Of course, your best bet is just going to be to paint that. We're just going to keep it closed for now, I think, like that. Nice articulation on the head, side to side, a little bit there, up, about that much, not too bad, and down like that, really far down there, no problems there. In the waist, this is really cool. We have basically like 2 points of articulation in the waist that you're going to able to be moving it forward like that at the lower waist, and then at the top, this part lifts up here as well. So you have almost sort of like a almost like accordion sort of extension there in the waist. So a lot of really cool movement there. Side to side, you're going to have some here in the lower waist section. So a lot of really cool movement there. Turning is not that much, only about like that. but it's not too bad. Here we can see is those lighter gray parts for the cables. It's not soft plastic, it's just hard, but those are really cool sort of cable parts in there, just making for some more great detail. The front skirt is joined, but you can separate that if you want to have those separate, but they're not really, there's probably not a whole lot of point in separating them in this kit's case because they're not going to block the legs at all in terms of movement. The side skirts are on this piece, you can see is kind of like free floating piece side to side, so those can move up and down like that, and then of course they can just move on their own as well. In the shoulders, this whole front piece is going to move similar to like the Build Burning, Tri-Burning Gundams. This whole side of the chest, as well as the Origin Zaku's, the whole front of the chest, the whole sides of the chest just kind of fold in the front like that, so really nice movement there. And then the arm is going to go forward, coming around forward about like that much. Going to go up nice and far, I think, well, about there before it's going to pop out, about like that. The shoulder armor, we can remove that and actually put that onto the Barbatos. I'll show you how to do that here momentarily. Otherwise, the arm is pretty standard, just rotating there. We've got a single joint. It's going to be bringing us a little bit more than 90-degree bend in the elbow, and the hands just on ball joints there. Then, yeah, I talked about this, the waist armor as this back part fell off. We'll get back to that. Back skirt doesn't move at all. Just here on the back, though, again, just really nice detail. I like this like bar part here underneath. Again, that yellow is just a sticker on there. And then the legs just going to be pretty normal here, rotating there. One cool thing that this has that the Barbatos doesn't have is this kind of separate knee part that is going to be moving separately, and I just popped the waist out. There we go. If we bring the legs forward and then bend that knee, you can see that this piece is going to be moving separately. So really cool that we've got that really nice big bend there in the knee section. Of course, we're only going to be able to be bringing this up. Let's move the skirt armor out of the way. I guess it does get in the way a little bit, depending on what exactly you want to do. With the pose, we can move that, angle the side skirt, and we can bring the leg up. About that far is going to be about the extent of how high you can bring up the knee. Not really too much, kind of would be nice if we could bring that up a little bit more, but it's running into the side skirt there actually. So that's going to be the extent of that. In the ankles, if you remember from the Barbatos, had those ankles that could spin almost all the way around. These, it's not quite the case because of the way that this armor is designed on the side of the ankle. It's only going to be able to go out to the side about that much, but you should be able to still get a pretty wide stance and still keep it pretty flat-footed there. The foot is all one piece too, so you're not going to be getting any movement in the toe. Actually, forward and back, it's really not going to be all that much at all, only about that much. So not really going to be able to point that down too much. This front ankle armor piece does move a little bit. Excuse me, having trouble talking there. This piece does move a little bit on there. Not really a whole lot, but it is something. And that's pretty much it for the articulation. Really, really nice articulation, as with the Barbatos. I think it's definitely has an advantage of having a almost full inner frame. It's got a lot of really nice points of articulation in there. So really, really good so far. This one, as you saw coming off the back, just plugs onto the back skirt like so, and then these are on an arm that can lift up, and then they can rotate on there as well, so you can move those freely. Now let's get into the accessories, because one of the accessories that we have is different options for those booster parts. These ones are going to mount onto the back. Now the manual shows you to use either one of the other, so we're meant to take these off and use these instead, and these ones just plug into the backpack, I guess. These are supposed to be, maybe some grazes have them equipped higher and some grazes have them lower, or they're supposed to be able to move between the higher part or the lower part. I am not sure exactly, but the manual says to only use one of the two options, but if you want, you can have both of the sets plugged on at the same time. Now they're set at the same width, so you I mean, depending on how you want them moved, they will run into each other, but if you have the waist turned at all, then you can eliminate that problem. But even if you have them straight on, you can just align them in a way that they're not running into each other, and you can have all 4 of those on the back to do something like that. Looks pretty cool, I think, if you wanted to have all 4 of them. For now, we'll just leave just the 2 of them on there, and then get in with the rest of the accessories here. Stand up. With this being a much smaller feet, with the Barbatos, it had really big feet, really easy to stand. This one has much smaller feet with those high heels, but it still stands pretty well, so that's good. We saw the head option for the top of the head. We also have our axe. Pretty cool, pretty simple design here for the axe. Just has the handle, it just drops down into the hand, and then pegs on each side to attach it to the side skirt, whichever one you want. Now, as with the Barbatos, one disappointing thing about this kit is that we do only have this one set of holding hands, no different options in terms of the hands, but again, this is just going to plug here onto the side skirt, like so. And then you're good to go with that. If you want to have it holding it in the hand, just going to drop it in like that, and there you go. Very easy to do. Alright, so the other thing that we have is also going to be our rifle. Now, I'm not sure if it's actually a beam rifle or if this is firing physical ammo. I'm not really too sure. We've seen it in action, but it was kind of really hard to tell, and I wasn't looking closely. This front handle does move side to side, very similar to a Zaku machine gun here, basically. In order to put this on the hand, you have to take off this part, because then this part, just these side parts will wrap kind of around the wrist as you drop this into the hand. There goes the legs off of there again, excuse me. And then underneath there's this peg on the arm, which is going to attach on with this piece. So the gun is actually held in the hand and connected to the forearms, so that's going to give it even more stability. So it's going to hold the gun onto the hand very, very securely there. It's a really nice connection, and it's a really good look for the gun as well. So really, really like that quite a bit. And so it's going to plug onto an action base like normal, and then we're able to get some nice posing with this. Now, as I said, this does have a lot of options in terms of parts that will work with this kit on the Barbatos Gundam, and we'll take a look at that momentarily. First thing I just want to mention that I haven't talked anything about yet is seam lines. This kit does have a few of them, although really not all that many. Basically, the only really noticeable seam lines that you're going to have to do some work on is on the sides of the legs here on the lower leg. On the inside and outside on both of the legs, you're going to have a little bit of a seam there that you're going to have to work on, but really nothing too bad in terms of seams. And just going back to the stickers as well, I think the stickers also are areas where it's very, very easy, going to be very easy to paint those, so really not going to have too much trouble getting this to be anime accurate. Of course, you will have to do a lot of hand painting on a lot of these smaller details as well, but that is going to pretty much go without saying on any HG. And the same as the Barbatos, I think really a lot of these parts that are stickers could have been parts. Maybe we could have got a couple of yellow parts to go in there in the chest, but I'm sure the 1/100 scale is probably going to have those yellow parts as parts instead of stickers, but I don't know, I'm not sure. To be honest, the 1/100 scale kits, what we've seen of them so far, they look very, very similar to HGs. I mean, they basically look like upscaled versions of the HGs, to be honest. Although they do look really nice, they don't really look to be all that different from the HG kits. I mean, one thing that I have noticed about the grays in particular, the 1/100 scale version, the sides of the legs where I pointed out is the seam line on there, that's its own separate piece that you're going to put on the side of the leg, so you're not going to have any seam there. So I'm sure there is going to be some improvements to the 1/100 scale version of this, but overall they really don't look all that too much different. Either way, I'm still very, very much looking forward to the 1/100 scale kits, especially the grays. So yeah, can't wait for that. Now, one thing that I've noticed and I feel I need to point out to you guys is that when posing this with the axe, I've found that the wrist joint is a little bit weak. I'm not sure if maybe that's just my kit. If any of you guys have been experiencing that as well with your kit, maybe let me know in the comments section. But holding that axe as it is are going to be a little bit heavy in the fact that it's long with most of the weight centered at the end of the axe there. The wrist joint being a little bit weak. That hand, I've got it posed up now, but it took a little bit of a balancing act to get that to be posed without the axe just sort of flopping down. I wouldn't be surprised if it just did it right now, but it's not going to. I think it's secure in that in its balance at the moment, but you might, well, if your kit is like mine, you might have a little bit of a weak wrist in your kits. Now before we wrap up the review of the Greys, as I said, there are some of these parts of the Greys that are going to be compatible on the Barbatos Gundam. So first, just want to give you guys just a quick 360-degree view of the two of these standing next to each other. They're almost identical in height. The Greys maybe is a little bit wider. It has very, very wide shoulders, whereas the Barbatos, even with its shoulder armor on, still is not quite as wide as the Greys. But that is one of the things that is going to be compatible on this kit. First, let me just show you these parts. These are the parts of the Greys that are going attaching onto the backpack. You can also attach these onto the backpack of the Barbatos Gundam. Someone on YouTube left me a comment pointing that out to me. Thank you for that. I don't think I would have noticed that on my own. With a lot of this stuff being compatible, I'm sure that's just one thing that you can use. If you want to, like for your Greys, you use the parts that attach onto the back skirt, and the parts that attach onto the backpack, you can use them on your Barbatos if you want. I think it doesn't really look all that good. It doesn't really fit that well, I think, so probably not going to use that on mine. The other option that you have is the shoulder, putting the Grey's shoulder armor onto the Barbatos Gundam. So all we have to do that is a little bit tricky. It's not just totally just swap it on. Grey's shoulder armor, we need to take it off, take it apart, and take out this gray piece in the center. Sorry, I know it's out of focus. Give me a moment here. Just need to pull this out, trying not to break any pegs. This gray piece in the center of the armor, then the armor, we're going to put it back together like that, and then this should fit onto here like so, on like that, and then there we go. Here's our Grey's shoulder armor on the Barbatos Gundam, and you can have it like that, or you could put it up if you want, but I think that's a little bit silly. It's a little bit too high there. So something like that, and you can have Grey's shoulder armor on there. Again, I think it doesn't really quite fit the look. I don't think there's really any other way to put it on that I know of. Yeah, no, it doesn't really fit the other way. So that's that, and as far as I know, that's pretty much it. Of course, the side skirt armor you can switch out because they're just using the same polycap, but that's not really anything too special. Of course, the Grey's axe as well you can give to the Barbatos Gundam if you want. If you really think your Barbatos Gundam needs more like melee weapons other than its sword and mace, you can use that. But those are the two main things that are compatible: the parts for the backpack, the shoulder armor there as well. Now, of course, with the weapons set, I think we might have a couple more things that are going to be compatible. I'm not sure exactly. I've snapped up the weapons set, but I haven't actually started experimenting with if any of that, what of that stuff is going to be compatible with what. I haven't got the Schwalbe Greys yet, so I wanted to do the weapons, do the review of the weapons set after the Greys, but I think I'm going to wait till after the Schwalbe Greys so that we can use some of that stuff, because I know the lance with the weapon set is supposed to be used for the Schwalbe Greys. So that is pretty much going to do it for reviewing this kit. If you guys couldn't tell, I am very impressed with this kit. I like it quite a bit. As far as the nub marks on it, they're really nothing too bad. I found, strangely, on the dark green parts, the nubs were worse than on any other part of the kit, but overall, not really bad anywhere on the kit. It seems there's a couple, but really not bad at all. Very, very easy ones to get rid of, actually, on the sides of the legs. Stickers, not bad, only a few, and very easy to paint those parts once you're going to be getting to painting. So really, there's nothing really to complain about this kit. I found the wrists to be a little bit weak, but that's really only if you're using the axe. If you're using the beam rifle, you're not going to have that problem at all because of the way that it secures onto the lower arm. So yeah, really great kit. Cannot wait for the 1/100 scale version. If Bandai ever does master grades of this one or the Barbatos as well. I was going to talk about this in the Barbatos review, but I forgot. Some people are thinking that we're going to get master grade versions of at least the Barbatos Gundam. I'm not sure. The fact that they're doing 1/100 scale kits makes me think that they're not going to do master grades, because, I mean, sure, if they did a master grade, they could make it have more parts, so more part separation, which is always good. They can maybe make the inner frame maybe a little bit more complicated, make the hands better, because on the 1/100 scale version, the hands still look basically like HG hands, just in 1/100 scale size. So I can see how the master grade would, if they made a master grade, it could improve on the regular 1/100 scale version, but I don't really see it being a very smart idea on Bandai's part to release two different 1/100 scale versions of the kit. Now, of course, we have that in like past kits, like older series when Bandai was still doing the non-grade 1/100 scale kits, like from Seed and 00 and series like that. Like, for example, if you had the choice between a non-grade 1/100 scale Exia and a master grade Exia, you can probably guess which one's going to sell a little bit better. So I can see, like, for that reason, why Bandai might not want to put out the 1/100 scale kit of the Barbatos or the Greys and then a master grade as well, because then there's not really going to be too much point for just the regular 1/100 scale kit, except for the fact that it's cheaper. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to be getting master grades of them, at least anytime soon. But who knows, I could be wrong. The 1/100 scale kits, anyway, do look pretty cool. Not too complicated, but they are going to be nice kits, I'm sure. The designs are good. The series so far is great. I'm loving the series so far. I was a little bit skeptical at first, but I've really come around. I really like the tone that the series has and all of that, so can't wait to see more. Can't wait to see more of the kits and share them with you guys. So thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, comments, leave those down below. As always, I love hearing from you guys. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next review. Next thing we're going to be seeing from Iron Blooded Orphans is going to be the Schwalbe Greys. Should be pretty similar to this, so that review should be relatively short, because a lot of the same things will be covered as this kit. So anyway, look forward to sharing that with you guys shortly. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.